I'm 78 years old, and the most dangerous lies you were ever told came wrapped in good intentions, printed in textbooks, and delivered by people who had never truly lived outside the walls of a classroom. They gave you formulas. They gave you dates. They gave you the names of dead men and the battles they fought. But the knowledge that actually determines whether your life rises or falls, the kind of knowledge they never touched. Not once. Because that knowledge doesn't come from a curriculum. It comes from decades of watching what works and what destroys. It comes from burying friends who ignored it and watching others thrive because they understood it quietly in their bones. It comes from life doing what it always does, teaching the willing and humbling the proud. There are 5 proverbs I want to share with you today, not quotes from greeting cards, not motivational phrases stitched on a pillow. These are compressed truths, the kind that hold entire universes of meaning inside a single sentence. And the reason school never taught them is because you can't test them on paper. You can only understand them through experience, and then only if you're paying attention. The first one is this: still waters run deep. Most people hear that and think it's a compliment about quiet people. They think it means someone who doesn't talk much is secretly wise. And on the surface, that's partially true. But here's what most people miss. It's not just about people. It's a principle that governs nearly every domain of real power in this world. The things that make the most noise are almost never the things doing the most work. Think about an ocean. Where the surface churns and crashes, there's chaos. You can hear it from a mile away. But beneath, where the water's absolutely still, that's where the true currents move. Currents that can carry ships, reshape coastlines, and sustain entire ecosystems. The noise on top is just friction. The power is underneath, moving in silence. And here's where it goes deeper than that. We live in a world that rewards performance over substance. The loudest voice in the room gets mistaken for the smartest one. The person who talks the most gets assumed to be the most informed. We've been trained to equate volume with value. But every person who has ever built something lasting, a great marriage, a great company, a life worth remembering, they learned to find the current beneath the surface. They stopped performing and started producing. The real power is always in the stillness, in the sustained, quiet effort that never announces itself because it doesn't need to. And when you apply this to how you choose the people around you, your partners, your advisors, your friends, you stop being impressed by who performs the best and start watching for who moves the deepest. Those are not the same people. They almost never are. The second proverb: you cannot wake a man who is pretending to sleep. On the surface, this sounds like something you'd say about a stubborn relative who won't listen to advice. And yes, it is that. But it goes so much further, because this proverb is really about the nature of resistance and where it comes from, and why some problems in your life can never be solved by adding more information. There's a difference between ignorance and willful blindness. Ignorance is a gap that knowledge can fill. Willful blindness is a choice, a decision, made usually unconsciously, to not know because knowing would require changing, and changing is uncomfortable. Changing means admitting you are wrong. Changing means disrupting an identity you've spent years constructing. The real power in this proverb is what it tells you about where to invest your energy. When someone is pretending to sleep, your job is not to shake them harder. Your job is to recognize what you're looking at and act accordingly. You cannot convince a person of something they've already decided they don't want to believe. The attempt will exhaust you. It will also cost you something more precious than time. It will cost you your peace. Because every hour you spend trying to force someone to see what they've chosen not to see is an hour you didn't spend walking with the people who already have their eyes open. But it goes even deeper than that. This proverb is also a mirror, because there are areas in every person's life where they, too, are pretending to sleep, where you already know the truth, but knowing it fully would mean doing something hard. The proverb asks you to look inward. Where are you the one who refuses to wake? The third proverb: a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. Now, this is one most people think they understand. They hear it as a motivational message about the value of hardship. Struggle is good, difficulty makes you stronger, that kind of thing. And yes, that's in there. But the real weight of this proverb is something subtler and more unsettling. It's not just saying that difficulty is useful. It's saying that calm conditions produce incompetence. That when things go too smoothly for too long, you don't just stop growing. You actually lose the ability to navigate when the storm comes. And the storm always comes. This is not pessimism. This is meteorology applied to human life. A sailor who has only ever sailed calm water doesn't know what they don't know. They're confident. They've never been tested. And when the weather turns, their confidence becomes the most dangerous thing on the boat. They make decisions as if they're in calm water because calm water's all they've ever known. And here's what most people miss. This is why inherited wealth without inherited wisdom destroys families. This is why protections that shield people from all consequences eventually leave them unable to function. This is why the greatest gift a parent can give a child is not safety from all difficulty, but the chance to struggle through manageable hardships while someone who loves them is nearby. The proverb is a design principle. It's telling you that capability is only built through resistance, that competence requires contact with real conditions, and that smoothness, while comfortable, is secretly a form of starvation. The practical application is this: stop trying to eliminate difficulty from your life entirely. Start asking instead, is this a difficulty I can learn from? Is this a storm that is building something in me? And when you get through it, don't rush back to calm water. Stay in the trading a little longer. The skilled sailor is the one who sought out rough conditions before they had no choice. The fourth proverb, not everything that glitters is gold. You know this one. Everyone knows it. And because everyone knows it, almost no one actually applies it. That's the trap of familiar wisdom. Familiarity breeds contempt, and contempt breeds vulnerability. You hear these words and your brain says, yes, yes, I know that one. And then you go right back out into the world and get dazzled by the glitter. But here's what goes deeper. The reason glitter is so effective is not because people are foolish. It's because glitter is specifically designed to activate the same neurological response as gold. In nature, things that shine often signal value. Clean water, ripe fruit, certain minerals. The attraction to brightness is not a flaw. It's an ancient instinct that was useful for millions of years. The problem is that we now live in a world deliberately engineered to exploit that instinct. Every advertisement, every curated image, every carefully constructed first impression is designed to produce the feeling of gold without delivering its substance. And here's the layer that most people never reach. The glitter that is most dangerous is never the glitter on a stranger. It's the glitter on the things you want to be true, the business opportunity that solves all your problems, the relationship that seems perfect in the first 3 months, the ideology that explains everything neatly. The reason the proverb endures across every culture and every era of human history is because this pattern never changes. The glitter that fools us is always the glitter that found our desire first and dressed itself accordingly. The practical wisdom here is not suspicion. Cynicism is just foolishness wearing armor. The real application is patience. Gold can be tested. Gold holds its value under pressure, over time, through difficulty. The test of anything real, a person, an idea, a promise, an opportunity, is not how bright it looks in the first light. It's how it holds up after the shine has had time to wear off. Give things time. Let them reveal themselves. The gold will remain. The glitter will fade. And you will have saved yourself a wound that takes years to close. The fifth proverb, and I want you to carry this one with you. The empty vessel makes the most noise. We already touched the surface of this with still waters. But this proverb comes at the same truth from a completely different angle, and the angle matters. Because this one is not just about power, it's about knowledge, about what genuine understanding actually looks like from the inside. When a container is empty, every sound that enters it echoes and amplifies. The emptiness is what creates the volume. But when a vessel is full, when it carries real substance, sound doesn't bounce around the same way. It's absorbed, it lands and stays. A full vessel is quieter not because it has less energy, but because it has less empty space for noise to travel. Now think about what this means in human terms. The person who is loudest about how much they know is almost always telling you precisely how little they actually understand. Not because they're lying, but because when your knowledge is shallow, every thought echoes. There's nothing beneath it to absorb the sound, nothing deeper to contextualize what you think you know. You experience your partial understanding is complete, and you announce it loudly because the emptiness amplifies everything. But here's what it goes even deeper into. Real expertise is quiet, not by choice, but by structure. When you truly understand something, not the surface of it, but the roots of it, the exceptions, the contradictions, the places where the theory fails, you become aware of how much you don't know. The deeper you go, the more vast the unknown becomes. And so the truly knowledgeable person speaks carefully, qualifies their statements, hesitates before claiming certainty, not from insecurity, but from the kind of precision that only comes from depth. This is why the wisest teachers you've ever had probably spoke slowly. This is why the most dangerous person in any room is always the one who is absolutely certain. And this is why the most honest answer in the most complex situations has always been, I don't fully know. I've been thinking about it for 50 years, and I still don't fully know. That sentence, from the right person, is worth more than an hour of confident declarations from someone who learned about it last month. And the practical power of this proverb, where you actually live with it, is in how you choose your guides, how you decide who to listen to. Not the loudest, not the most certain, not the one who has the most to say, the one who chooses their words as if they cost something, the one who pauses before answering, the one who tells you what they don't know before telling you what they do. I've been on this earth long enough to see fashions come and go, technologies rise and fall, empires of confidence crumble. But these proverbs, these compressed, ancient, tested pieces of wisdom, they have never been wrong, not once, because they don't describe trends, they describe human nature, and human nature doesn't update with the software. It is what it is, the same now as it was when these words were first spoken thousands of years ago. The real tragedy of school was not that it failed to teach us these things. The real tragedy is that it taught us to look for knowledge in the wrong shape. It taught us that knowledge looks like a lesson plan, that wisdom has a textbook, that truth comes with a multiple-choice answer at the bottom of the page. And so when we encountered the real thing, rough, paradoxical, earned in silence, we walked right past it because it didn't look like what we'd been trained to recognize. You're old enough now to know the difference. Use it.